In this video, I'm going to explain you transformation of sentences. Transformation of sentences is question 5D part in English paper 1. Here you are asked to rewrite the sentences with the help of instruction given in the bracket. In previous videos, I have already discussed transformation of sentences with you with sentences no sooner than and as soon as, and we have also I have also made a video on interchanging of degrees of comparison. So in this video, I will be explaining how to transform the sentences using unless and if, and sentences using so that and TOO and TO2 sentences. So let's get started. You need to understand that if plus not is equal to unless. Let's understand this with help of few examples. See in this statement, if you don't study, comma, you will fail. If is used with a negative, that is do not, is used in the statement. In this case, if you are asked to rewrite the sentence beginning with unless, you will write unless in place of if and you will remove do not. Unless you study, comma, you will fail. It's very easy. Let's take another example. In second statement, if you see, if you don't come, again if and the negative word don't, comma, the party will be boring. So instead of if, use unless and omit writing don't. Unless you come, comma, the party will be boring. So let's take another example. If you tell the truth, see the first part of the statement does not have a negative in it, but not is used in the second part of the statement. If you tell the truth, comma, you will not be punished. So in this case, you will again rewrite the statement using unless. Instead of if, you will write unless you tell the truth, comma, and in the second part of the statement, you will not use not. So the rule remains the same. If plus not is equal to unless. If could be in the first part of the statement or in the second part of the statement. What you are supposed to do, you are supposed to rewrite the statement with unless. You will use unless in place of if and you will remove not in the statement. So this is how you will transform the sentences where you are asked to rewrite the sentence or begin the sentence with unless. Now let's take a case of the vice versa, reverse of the statement that we have done. If is equal to, unless is equal to if plus not. So in this case, it is just the opposite of what we have done. Unless you work hard, comma, your project will be rejected. So in this case, you will be asked to begin the sentence using if or rewrite the sentence using if. So again, in this case, instead of unless, you will write if and you will add a negative in the statement because if plus not is equal to unless. So you will rewrite the sentence saying, if you don't work hard, comma, your project will be rejected. Let's take another example. Unless he hurries, he won't catch the train. So in this statement, negative is used. Negative is already there. So what will you do in this case? Unless he hurries. So if he does not hurry, unless is equal to if plus not. So in the first part of the statement, you will write the statement, you will replace unless with if and you will add not. And the second part of the statement remains the same. So this is how. Don't worry if there is unless and not in the statement, it could come. Unless he hurries, comma, he won't catch the train. So in this case, you have unless and you also have a negative in the statement. So in this case, you will transform the first part of the statement as per the rule I have told you. Instead of unless, you will write if and you will add not in the statement. See, it is present tense. That is why we have rewritten it using does not. If it was unless he hurried, it was a past form, then you should have written it like did not, using did not. So according to the tense of the statement, we will use do, does or did. So if he does not, you will rewrite the statement. Instead of unless, you will write if, and you will add does not in the statement, and the rest of the part remains the same. So the statement will be if he does not hurry, comma, he won't catch the train. Let's consider another case. In previous statement, I had told you that if plus not is equal to unless. But there are few cases in which if is given and there is no negative in the statement. In that case, if is equal to unless plus not. For example, if you like, comma, you can go. In this case, you will rewrite the statement. Instead of if, you will write unless you like, comma, you can't go. With can, with the helping verb, we have used not. So you can write it like cannot also. So unless you like, comma, you cannot go. Let's take another example. If you work hard, comma, you will get a better job. See, in this statement, we have if, but there's no negative in the statement. So how will you interchange this? Instead of if, you will write unless you work hard, comma, you will not get a better job. So in the second part of the statement, we have used not. Not in the first part of the statement, we have used not in the second part of the statement, because unless itself is negative word. It means if plus not. And here in a statement with if you are not given a negative, then you will rewrite the statement. Instead of if, you will write unless, and in the second part of the statement you will add not. Let's take another example. If you hurry, comma, you will catch the bus. So again, there is no negative. We have if but no negative in the statement. In this case, you will rewrite the statement. Instead of if, you will use unless you hurry, comma, you will not catch the bus. So we have added not in the second part of the statement. So this is another rule where you are given a statement with if, and there is no negative in the statement. In that case, you will rewrite the statement using unless plus not. There is this exceptional case also where in a statement you have if plus not means 2 times you have not in the statement with if. That is equal to if unless plus not, because if plus not is unless, this second not remains not again. So let's understand. I've already told you if plus not is equal to unless. So this goes with this and not remains as it is. So let's take this example. If you don't study, comma, you won't succeed. So in this case, we have a statement with if. We have one negative here and one negative here. So if you don't study, comma, you won't succeed. So how will we interchange this sentence using unless? So in the first part, we will follow rule 1, as I've already told you, if plus not is equal to unless. So instead of if, we will write unless, and we will remove not in the first part of the statement. Unless you study, comma, you won't succeed. The second part of the statement remains the same. This I had discussed with you earlier also. So you need to remember that don't get confused. In case if there are 2 nots in a statement with if, the second part of the statement remains the same. And the first part of the statement you will remove if and rewrite using unless, and you will not write the negative in the first part of the statement. Take another example. If you do not work hard, comma, you will not pass. So unless you work hard, comma, you will not pass. So if instead of if, we have written unless, we have removed do not in this case, and the rest of the sentence remains the same. So this is how you will interchange the sentences from if to unless. Now let's recall what we have done. Put unless in place of if in case you get a statement to rewrite using unless. So instead of if, you will write unless. Remove do not, does not, did not if it is there in the statement. You will remove the negative in the statement. Add s or es to the verb if you remove does not. So if you remove does not in the statement, For example, if the statement is, if he does not work hard, he will, he will fail. So in that case, how will you rewrite the statement? You will remove if with unless he studies, because does is used in the statement given. So unless he studies, you will add s or es with the verb that is studies. Unless he studies hard, he will fail. So then you will write the remaining sentence as it is, using unless in place of if. In case not is missing, means you have to make the other part negative. If is affirmative and vice versa. See, this I had explained you with the help of example. If you work hard, you will get a better job. Here you have if, but you do not have not in a statement. So what will you do in this case? Instead of if, you will rewrite the statement using unless you work hard, you will not get a better job. In the second part of the statement, you have added not. So this is how you will interchange a statement with if that does not have a negative in it. In the previous statements, we have done sentences beginning with if and unless. If and unless could be used in the middle of the statement as well. For example, if you will you will stay home if you don't come with us. So here we have if in the middle of the statement and do not. You will stay home unless you come with us. So unless is used instead of if, and do not is removed in the statement. So the rules are the same, but it could be used in the middle of the statement also. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. So the first part of the statement remains the same. You can't win the lottery. Instead of if, we have used unless and we have removed do not. Unless you buy a ticket. That. I will trash your sandwich if you don't want to eat it. So again, I will trash your sandwich unless. Instead of if, we have used unless and we have removed do not. Unless you won't eat it. I am not going to the party if Carol is not going. I am not going to the party. First part remains the same. Instead of if, you have written unless and not is removed. Unless Carol is going. Now let's understand the statements in which you are given so that and you are asked to use to or to. So it could be asked vice versa also. So whenever you get a sentence, whenever you get a sentence to transform in a transformation of sentences, the first thing you need to do is you need to know the tense of the statement. Whatever the case is, whatever you are instructed in the bracket, first thing you need to know is the tense of the statement, and accordingly you will transform the statement in the same tense unless until you are asked to change the tense. So in transformation of sentences, you should ensure that the tense of the statement remains the same. So let's understand this sentence. See, T-O-O-2 is a adverb and TO2 is a preposition. So here in this case, the tea is too hot for me to drink. So this statement is in present tense since is used here. So in this case, what we will do? We will remove this T-O-O-2 and rewrite the statement, first part of the statement using so. So the tea is so hot for me to drink. After immediately before the second statement, second part of the sentence begins, we will add that me will be changed to I, and since it is present tense, we will rewrite using cannot. The tea is so hot that I cannot drink it. See, this transformation is very simple. The only mistake children do is they do not understand that the tense is present or past. In case the tense is present, you will use cannot with the statement so. You will use cannot, and in case the tense is in past tense, in present tense you will use cannot, and in past tense you will use could not. So that is the only change. Otherwise, it remains the same always. So, let's take second example with the same statement. The tense is changed. The tea was, instead of is, we have used was here. The tea was too hot for him to drink. Again, instead of TOO2, we have rewritten the sentence using so. The tea was so hot that he could not drink. So instead of cannot, here we have written could not because the tense is past tense. So that is the only difference. So it's very easy, but children lose marks because they do not see the tense of the statement and they write the statement wrongly. So in case it is was, it is past tense, you will rewrite the statement with so using could not, and in case it is present tense, you with is, you will rewrite the statement with cannot. So rest of the things remains the same. The tea was so hot that he could not drink it. Since here him is used, so that is why we have used here he. Here me is used, that is why we have used here I. Let's take another example. He was so weak that he could not walk. So this is vice versa. You are the instructions are that you have to rewrite the statement using TOO2. So here again we need to we need to know the tense of the statement. That should be correct. Instead of so we have written TOO2. He was too weak to walk. So rest of the things are omitted. See, these are the three words that we add in order to interchange such statement with TOO2 and TO2 to so and that. See, immediately how do you interchange a statement that has TOO2 in it? You rewrite the statement. Instead of TOO2 we write so, and instead of TO2 we write that. So instead of TOO2 we replace TOO2 with so and TO2 with that, and then comes the noun or the pronoun according to the statement, and then could not or cannot according to the tense of the statement. So there are three words added here instead of TO2. So we will simply remove TO2 and add that, then followed by a noun or a pronoun according to the statement, and then could not or cannot. Could not in case it is in past tense, cannot in case it is a present tense. So it's very easy. Let's take another example. She is so busy that she finds no time to entertain her friends. So in this statement, you're asked to rewrite using TOO2. So instead of so, we will write TOO2. She is too busy to find time to entertain her friends. So in this case, instead of so, we have rewritten the sentence using TOO2. Instead of that, we have written TO2, and the rest of the things, they remain the same. Let's take few more examples for better understanding. Here sentences containing adverb to are there, and we have to rewrite the sentences using so and that. These mangoes are too cheap to be fresh. So are is used, that means it is a present tense. Instead of to, we will use so. Instead of TO2, we will use that. These mangoes are so cheap that they cannot, because it is present tense, cannot be fresh. They, because for mangoes we use they, and cannot. So instead of to, we have used that followed by a noun or pronoun, and then can or could not according to the tense of the statement. He is too strong to be defeated. He is so strong that he cannot be defeated. See, again, instead of TOO2 we have used so. Instead of TO2 we have used that, and cannot because it is a present tense. Then vice versa, the hall is so small that all cannot be accommodated. So instead of so, we will use TOO2. Instead of that, we will use TO2. The hall is too small to accommodate all. So these things will be removed. He speaks so softly that he cannot be heard. So instead of again so, we will use TOO2, and instead of that we will use TO2, and we will remove he cannot. He speaks too softly to be heard. I hope you have understood how to transform sentences with TOO2 and TO2 to so, that, and also if and unless sentences. In case you have any query, you can let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much.